Hello, hello, welcome back to Divine Destiny Guide. How are you? Sending you the purest of love and light always. You're blessed, you're highly favored, you're secured, you're anchored, and you're protective. Welcome. If it's your first time returning soul tribers, new soul tribers, thank you for your love, your support. Thank you. Please remember to leave your email or subscribe to my email list on my website. Also, please feel free to check out the store online. You may find something that you like as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. Again, I just love hearing from you. Thank you so very much. You encourage me just as much. If I provide any inspiration for you, you certainly are a blessing to me, and I am grateful for that. So let's get right into the message because it just came to me about birthright. And the spirit said, and I wrote it on the card, it says, your birthright is not for sale. Somebody needs to hear this. Your birthright is not for sale. And it doesn't matter what happens in life, you should allow your integrity and your character to hold you up. Don't allow the plans or the tricks of the enemies to let you give up your birthright. And it took me to the story with Esau and Jacob. And I have this deck. And I said, God, if you want me to talk about it, while I was shuffling, I said, let it come to the top. And guess what happens? Surely enough, the card came to the top. Esau, the story, if you'd like to read it, it's in Genesis 25, verse 29. And it talks about here Esau being foolish, squanderer, made a poor decision. He made a poor decision in regards to, I'll put it here, in regards to his birthright. Because see, he's the firstborn, it's a twin, his other brother is Jacob. And Esau, as the firstborn, he was hairy, more rugged, he loved to farm, so his dad favored him. While Jacob, he was more of like a mama's boy. He loves to stay home in the tent. So one day Esau came home and he was very hungry, and his brother made a pot of stew, I guess like lentil soup. And Esau was so hungry, he said to his brother, give me some of the soup, the red soup. And his brother said to him, he will give it to him if he will exchange it for his birthright. Now, the birthright, that's the promise, that is what is to come, to take his father's place, pretty much to uphold the family and the blessings that comes along with it. And in the moment of his weakness in the flesh, because he was hungry, Esau said, well, what good is my birthright gonna do to me when I'm starving? I'm gonna die from hunger. And so he promised his brother, he made sure he took a vow to promise that, yes, you're gonna, like a pinky swear, like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll give it to you. And with that, he gave him the lentil soup and a piece of bread, made it really cushy, made it really comfortable. And then I'm sure after Esau ate the food and now his stomach is full, he regretted, he hated the hasty and the poor decision that he made, and he could not recant. He could not go back on his word. He could not go back on the promise. See, the thing about it is that what some of us don't realize is that the enemy or the enemies are planning on how they want to sabotage us, how they can take and steal. They're plotting. Remember, the devil comes, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. How they can take away our birthright. But It's here. Your birthright is not for sale. It doesn't matter what you're going through. And it's so amazing too. When Jesus came and the devil tried to tempt him because he knew that Jesus was hungry. Oh, turn this stone into bread. And Jesus had to rebuke him. Man shall not live by bread alone. So it's like, but by the word of God. So when your flesh is weak, and it can come across in any way, you don't have the money, and somebody come with some really deceptive con artist ways as strategies as to how you can get some fast money. In the moment, it may sound good, but it's not good. In the long run, when you find yourself in a very sad position, you're going to regret that. We're seeing it playing out in the news, whether it's in the Christian community or in the world. People, everything is blown open as to a moment of weakness, times of weakness. And the enemy uses that as a way to come in, to rob us, to steal us of our joy. And then we are left sad and ashamed, because then after you obtain that thing, then you realize you're not fulfilled. You regret that poor decision. And it haunted Esau for his entire life. He was angry with his brother. And for some of you, the enemy who is plotting on your birthright could be the same person you share a roof with. You have the same mother. You could have the same father. Do not underestimate who the enemy will use to try to trick you out of your spot. A lot of people know that we have wonderful things coming into our lives, and they want to make it their mission to mess it up for us, to throw us off of our course so we don't make it, so we don't obtain it. And let me tell you, the enemy does not feel sorry for you, because how many of you, if you have it, you would give it to a stranger if they said they're hungry, but his own brother would not give him. He went to farm, so that means he's taking care of the crops and the animals out there. And yet still to bring home the food, because Jacob did not do anything. He was more of a softie. He stayed home with mommy and maybe clean the house and I don't know, maybe the garden. Maybe that's too much dirt, because Esau was more rugged. But what I'm trying to say is that he knows that whatever his brother works out there, he bring it home to the family. That's probably what he was cooking too. So you see, when he came home, that hunger, the sweet smell of the aroma, it's very tempting. And we know the enemy's offer, it's very tempting. Very tempting. But it comes at a very high cost. A very high cost. I don't know, this message can go in any direction. Whether it's the temptation of doing something in the flesh, even if it's sleeping with somebody, after you make out and everything, all the heat and the steam is done, then you realize maybe there is pregnancy, maybe there is some infection, some disease. It's the regret of feeling used. This could go anywhere. And like I said, whether it's doing something that is against the law, at the moment, the thrills, it's good, it's high. But then when it gets caught up with you, it's not fun anymore. And the enemy is waiting to see that. They're bringing in an audience to watch, to see how you're going to respond. Because the thing is, it's a trap, it's a trick. And his brother saw how hungry he was, and he held out on him because he had a plan. You have to give me a birthright. See, when you're not even thinking about something that you have, because you may have something going for you that for you it's not a big deal. You're not a show off. It's natural. But yet still somebody is there hating you for what you have. And they're planning how to take it from you, how to mess it up for you. And his brother held out on him until he had to swear. I mean, maybe if it was me in that moment, because if bread is in the house, all I need is some sugar. And I'm making me some beverage, some sugar and water with a piece of bread. But see, sometimes in the moment, and I know, it's easier said than done when, when you're looking in at it. But at the moment, there are things and times when we go out, even if you're on a diet and you're like, I don't eat this thing. But if we're not careful, when we're hungry, we can end up eating the wrong things, right? So it's the same thing. You said you would not sleep with that person, but in the moment, the weakness of the flesh, everything just caves in. I understand. I'm not judging anybody here. But again, we can all learn from our mistakes. The word is there for us to also learn from. Because then, even though God forgives us, but we have to leave. Not leave, well, yeah, leave, maybe some of you. But you will have to live with the consequence. He'll forgive you, but if you get an infection or a disease, that is it. If you get pregnant, that's it. You may want the money, but if you do it by some illegal way, you get caught, you're going to have to do the time. Whatever it is, you're going to have to live with the consequence of that. But a lot of you need to realize, if you don't know, your birthright is not for sale. So stop allowing the enemy to play with it. Don't be so reckless with it. Don't be so reckless with it. Men or women, brothers or sisters, it's the same thing. It's like you have men, you have some women out there who will think in order to stay in your wallet, they will get pregnant for you. So that means they can trap you so you're tight, connected. The same thing, women, men, when they want to break your legs so you don't go off to college or you don't go further in your life, to hold you back so they can keep you as a revolving door to come in, then they will try to get you pregnant. Some people are even as selfish as if they have certain disease or infection. They want to bring it to you to get you trapped and stuck. So that means nobody else wants you. Nobody else is going to deal with you. For some of you, people want to embarrass you so that they can prove to people. You see, that's what I'm saying. They're just as scandalous. They're just as reckless as we are, as I am, because misery loves company. You could be in your workplace and somebody come to you with this thrilling idea of how to do a shortcut, or gossiping about the manager or the supervisor to you. And you may not be on point, realizing this person is setting a trap for you. And then you put your 2 cents in, then they go back to the manager or the supervisor to say that, you know what he said, you know what she said. They're not going to tell the manager or the supervisor what they said. And then from then on, you now become a target. This is why we're supposed to be as wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. If you don't have anything good to say, close your mouth. Or not allow ourselves to be in certain environments where our flesh, where things become so weak, so tempting, where we fall for it. But the Bible tells us wherever there is temptation, God, He provides a way out. But a lot of the times we ignore the red flags. We ignore the red flags. And people are realizing that you are not an easy target. They set a lot of traps for you, but they could not get you. You're not an easy target. We have here King David, very intuitive, self-aware, reflective. And this is what helps a lot of you, a lot of us, by trusting your intuition. Being self-aware, knowing who you are, knowing whose you are. Because people are judging you a lot of the times based on what they see on the outside. And they just think if they have certain plans in place, you're going to fall for it. You're going to go for it because this is what happens all the time. That's what Satan did. He used different things, but it's the same strategy as he used in the garden with Adam and Eve. He tried to pull the same trick on Jesus. But this time, Jesus mopped the floor with him. He was no match. Jesus was ready for him this time, because he messed it up for Adam, but not this time. Jesus came to correct it. And so it is for us. That is an example for us to see how the enemy works. So whatever they're coming with, just as how Jesus said to him in his moment of weakness, because he was fasting, so he was hungry. Jesus was fasting. And then that's when the enemy came with the weakness of his flesh to tell him, oh, turn the bread into stone so he could have food. And even though Jesus was so hungry, he said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that come out of the word of God. So therefore it's like, whatever it is that you're struggling with, the enemy knows, the enemy is aware. And it's for us to know that we are weak in that area, and it's almost like having a plan ahead. Having a plan ahead. Like some people will say, if they're on a diet, they're going to a party, they'll make sure they eat something at home first so that they don't go over. You understand? I'm just saying that. It's like you're going on a date. If it's possible, then you want to drive by yourself so then you don't have to get caught up in any compromising position. If somebody wants you to do something illegally in the workplace, you have a plan. No, you're not going to do that. You stand by your integrity. Uphold your standard. You have values. You have morals. Somebody bring a gossip to you. Just listen. Listen. Be like the wise owl. The more you see, the less you speak. And the less you speak, the more you will see. Or not see. At night they can see, but they can hear. Their hearing is very good. So the less they speak, it's the more that they hear. And the more they hear, the less they speak. But they have perfect vision at night. So they can see at night. So being able to see through the illusion, to be able to see with your spiritual eyes, and just stop being contented with people fooling you, tricking you. Because the enemy, his plan is to take you down, to cut you down. And it doesn't matter how well you're doing all your life, how many years you've been working for that company, one mistake. It doesn't matter how long you've been married, one mistake. And it's like, that's it. Every time somebody Google, you see it all over. That's the mistake that is reminded of. So be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. You're not a serpent, but is knowing the skills, the tactics, the characteristics of a snake, how they maneuver, how they're crafty, how they're sneaky, their trickery. Yeah. Yeah, so for a lot of you, because of the things you have gone through, your guards are up. When it comes to trusting a lot of people, your guards are up. You're not an easy target. People can't just take you down. This is what they're realizing. You're intuitive. And again, you don't have to do cards. You don't have to have a channel. Right where you are in your community, in your corner of the world, people can't play with you because you trust God and you listen to what the Spirit is saying to you. So your guards are up. Your guards are up like Jabez. Prayers, desires, and your intentions. Yeah. So it's like what the things that you want in life, you're protecting them. You're protecting your heart. You're protecting your mind. You're putting a guard over your tongue. Loose lips sink ships. People can't just easily. Maybe in the past you were falling for it, but it's about time that you realize how the enemy works. You know, it's like now you're focused on God with the Jabez prayer. You're looking to God to supply your needs. You're having a conversation with God. You don't have time for people and their foolishness. And it's like the more it's a relationship, the stronger the partnership with divine is, then the more we're able to hear from him. The more we're able to speak to him, to manifest, and to get to know more about our birthright. Some of you heard or know the story about the Jabez prayer. You know, it's you making your request known unto God. And you have done the work. And now it's like you're coming into the part where you're supposed to get your blessings, and people are trying to take it away from you. They're planning under the quiet how they can make this happen, how they can make it happen. And I'm telling you, look, walking unscathed. And it says at the other side, it says you're protected. You're protected. Unscathed, it says you are fortunate. Trap was laid out for you, but you were too smart to fall for it. Wow. You are protected. Find solace in safety, knowing you're sheltered and guided through life's storms to calm shores. Yeah, so for a lot of you, God moved you away to calmer water from the people who want to steal your birthright. Because I'm telling you, a lot of these people, they would have befriended you. A lot of people are angry because they can't have access to your birthright. It's like they want to be a part of your story. But no, you did the work. You did the work. You are the one, like, you know, you are the one who went through a lot of things. A lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges. You did the hard work. They don't deserve to be with you. So because they can't ride on your coattail, then they're trying to see how they can swipe it out of your hand. But here you're protected and you walked away unscathed. A lot of these people came in your life to see how they could trap you, to keep you stuck. And it's like God shifted you. You trusted your intuition and God did it. He did it for you. Wow. I love that. I love that. I love it for you. I love it for us. Wow. Let's see, Spirit. Yeah, so your birthright is not for sale. And you should make sure that you protect it and treat it as such. Yeah, serene heaven. Embrace tranquility as your refuge, where serenity blossoms and peace enfolds your being. Harbor of peace. Yeah, move away. God moved you to safety. People realize now you're not an easy target because God is always protecting you, looking out for you. And it's like you're about peace. So whatever, if they even told lies that you were this kind of rah-rah person or contentious, whatever it is, when you're really a harbor of peace, you're a safe haven. You're a quiet person. Yes, you will defend yourself, but you're not going to go out there to make a war with people. because they want to take away your birthright. People could have painted you in any and every kind of way. So people had a target on you. See, it's like Goliath. He wanted to, he would target the children of Israel over and over because he was so big, and, so people were afraid of him. And it took David with a sling to take him out. You are not an easy target. And even as big as or tall as Goliath was, David took him out, took out his sword and finished him off. People underestimate you. Again, they look at your size and they think that they can easily, because see, Goliath was laughing at David like he's no match for me. But see, when you go in the name of God, the enemy is no match to you. A lot of people came to you in the flesh, and this is why they are running, they're stumbling, because the weapons they form did not prosper against you, because God fights your battles. Little is much when God is in it. Wow. Yes. And even his own brothers too underestimated him, because he was just supposed to be out there. One of them, shouldn't you be out there with our father's sheep, trying to embarrass him in front of people? Not realizing that while he was out there, he was practicing on his sling, taking out lions. I'm telling you. Yeah, a lot of people are realizing you're not an easy target. They mess with the wrong one, but in fact, you are the right one. You are the right one. Wow, soul whisperers, look beyond the words and hear what is really being said. Learn in secret, stay open-minded and receptive as you uncover hidden truths and embrace the lessons they offer. So a lot of you, some of you, it's like, you listen and talk about Jabez prayer. God is talking to you. So you trust your intuition. When God says move, you move. When God says speak, you speak. He that keepeth his tongue, you keep your life. It's like you're not going to fall for it. You know exactly what the enemy is trying to do. So you're listening in tune now more with divine. When he says to say nothing, it's like, what would Jesus do? Because the offer is tempting. Whatever it is that you will be coming up against, the offer is very tempting. But in the end, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. People are going to want to set you up, to take your position, to look like the better man, the better woman for the job, to ruin your reputation and your character. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Soul's whispers, look beyond the words. Look beyond the words of what people are saying to you. It's almost like count everything they're saying. Have you ever had somebody say something to you and it's like a few days later you're like, those words came across your mind and you're like, oh my God, how didn't I catch those words? Because I would have said this and that, and it's like, it's a good thing that you didn't hear it at the moment, because it probably would have ended, or that conversation would have went really bad. And so God is saying to look beyond the words of what people are saying. Don't just make swift comments, swift remarks, make swift decision. Look beyond the words. Count the meanings of the words. It's like, many are the afflictions of the righteous. Think about it. Many are the afflictions. What is afflictions? The sickness, the up and downs, the problems of life. It's like taking each word apart. Let me think about it. Not making any hasty decision, and hear what is really being said in the moment. In the moment. No hastiness. None of that. Wow. Father of hope. Grasp the feather of hope, a delicate symbol of upward promises and an uplifting future. I'm telling you, God knows the plans, the promises He has for you. He wants to bless us, not to hurt us, right? So, some of you may be seeing feathers as a sign, a symbol. The Father of hope, again with the Jabez prayer here. Your desires, making your intentions known. Your guards are up. Protect what is yours. Protect what is yours. And Spirit is saying, go on your own way and trust yourself. Learn to trust your intuition as well. Hear what Spirit is saying to you. For some of you, you really need to release the past. Release what no longer serves us. So those people, places, and things cannot keep running in and out of our life to keep messing us up. No one is coming to save you. Only you can save yourself. You better believe it. You are capable of building the exact life you desire. Look, the Jabez prayer talk about desire, desire. God knows the desires of your heart. Tell them to divine. And this is what happens when you co-create with God. You manifest. But again, knowing your birthright is not for sale. Stand up, protect what is yours, so that you can build the life that you desire and that divine says that you deserve. That is your birthright, or that is a part of your birthright. I love it for you.